So I was saying after every switching and routing topic, I always try to incorporate what we've studied so far into a mini project. So
Yeah.
in this project, I want us to cover what we've studied practically.
Mm.
And basically, what we've studied practically is basic configuration, VTP VLANs, deny allowed VLANs, EtherChannel, and port security. And most of the
Yeah.
things we've studied theoretically, and I sent the study materials to your email. So in this project, it's a simple, it's a mini project that covers everything that we studied previously, and if you check on the assignment, it's the same thing. But I have added and modified some some questions here. For example, under the
Yeah.
basic configuration, I have added a lot of things there, and also under VLANs, I have added some configuration, and finally switch port security. So this assignment, or rather this mini project, covers all of the things that you studied so far. All of this.
Mm.
So we want to learn them how they can be applied in the real world. Suppose you have a project, how will you work together? How will you put them together to achieve a feasible solution that
Yeah.
that can achieve your objective? So, for example, I'll start reading. We are required to draw this topology here. So the part one is a basic configuration. So draw the exact topology as above with any background and comment. Refer to the attached PNG image for clarity. Just a minute. Okay, so I was saying that we are required to draw an exact topology as above, and there is a PNG image that has been attached. So I'll just open the PNG image. This is the PNG image that has been attached. We have several switches, almost 8 of the switches, and we have the backgrounds, colors, and the PCs. So without any further ado, I'll just open my packet tracer and draw the topology. We have almost 8 switches. So one, told here, any PC of VLAN 10 should access this range F0/6 to 12. Any, it can take any interface. So
An
if
interface.
I just take
Uh,
the,
VLAN 10 is the okay. Did we all have we already assigned the VLANs over there?
no, we have not already assigned the VLAN. We want to draw the topology
Oh, I mean,
as
yeah,
per the PNG here that is
yeah,
provided. So
yeah.
we have to make sure that the topology we have is looking similar to this before we can begin configuration.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So then you have to just choose copper straight through. You come to this switch and you choose F0/6 to 12. So you can choose any interface. For example, number 8. Connect it here. Then for
Slow down. You
sorry.
say that i- that's a VLAN 30 you're talking about, or you VLAN 10? Like the
Um, I,
PC you are assigning to.
I,
Do you want to make, because according to the one
P,
second, one
oh,
second.
okay. According to PNG, the first PC is VLAN 10. Right. So let me do it. So this should be our VLAN 10, and I'll just choose copper straight through. You know, automatic chooses when you choose in this case, we'll not choose automatic because we've been told
Yeah.
to specify a given interface, connect to a given interface, because automatic will take the immediate one that has not been assigned. So multitext copy straight through, go to this one and choose it was from 06 to 12, so I can choose 7 from 8, and I connected there.
Yeah, that was my confusion, because I saw you were linking to the third, to the
Sorry,
low,
sorry.
to the other PC.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. And then for VLAN 20 is F13 to 19, so you can choose any interface.
Yeah.
13 to 7, I can even choose 15. And then finally VLAN 30 is from 19 to sorry, it's from 20 to 24, so I can choose anyone.
So is the same assignment that's the one I have here, or the different?
Yeah, it's the same assignment, although there are some modification that has happened. So basically what I'm doing now is including the modification to match what I wanted.
Because if I see on my assignment, there is none, those specification for specific interfaces to the VLAN are not included in my assignment.
Yeah, so that's why I
They are
wanted
not.
that's why I wanted to include everything, because
Oh yeah.
even in this assignment you are going to see what we didn't cover in during the class, and you will learn a lot here. So um 22nd for VLAN 30. All right. And now there are some backgrounds and comments. For example, but the background color from the PCs, I'll consider whether to draw them or not. The first thing that I want to do is to configure the background color for to specify which VTP are these. For example, the switches. I'll just go to these switches and I choose this round that oval, and choose blue, first red, yellow, and we've been told this to be VTP server, and now the rest to be VTP clients. For example, this one VTP client, all of them now. I think our topology is similar to what was given here in the question, and basically without any further ado, we need to start the configuration part. And the first configuration that we're going to do here is basic configuration. What are we going to configure? We're going to configure host name, banner messages, privilege exec mode password, line console password with together with login synchronous and exec timeout. Then we're going to configure line VTY password together with login synchronous and exec timeout. Then encrypt all the configured password, disable IP domain lookup, and save the configuration. Basically, let's start. I click here, and this is our topology.
We'll be doing it to all switches, right?
That's why I'm telling you today we're going to learn something that will make our work very easier. We're going to do configuration on only one switch, and what we're going to do will enable us to save time by replicating the configuration to all other switches. So let's start with this switch for a demo purpose. Enable, config T, hostname to be switch 1, then banner message, banner MTD to be, let's say that one. We've been given a message here to indicate
unauthorized access is prohibited for this, punishable by law.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I want to include here. So I just paste it there and hit enter. Then the next thing that we're going to configure is privilege exec mode password, which we just say by privilege exec mode password. We just say enable password to be in this case I want us to save time. I just use Cisco, which is very easier to configure. And then a line console password together with login synchronous and exec timeout. We just enter line console 0.
Console 0.
Yes. Then we say password to be Cisco. Then login, they use authenticate.
Okay.
Yeah. Then together with the login synchronous, yeah, login synchronous and exec timeout of 2 minutes. Then you exit the interface. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. Then we carry on to line VTY.
Line VTY.
Line VTY 0 to 15. There are 16 VTY interfaces. It starts from 0 and it ends at 15, but there are 16. From 0 to 15 is 16. Hit enter, then you say password to be Cisco.
Then login.
Cisco. Then login. And login synchronous now. Synchronous. And exec timeout. Exec timeout of 2 minutes. And we exit.
Okay, I have a question over there.
Sorry?
I have a question.
Yes.
Like for every time you set up a password, you have to put a login synchronizers.
Well, we say that login synchronous prevents logs from interrupting our configuration, and they are used for line VTY.
When you're done with the line, the console
and VTY,
you have to put login is synchronized.
Yes, make sure you include login synchronous and exec timeout under line console and line VTY. It's very important. Okay. So also we need to encrypt all the configured password. How do you do that? We just say service password encryption. Yeah. And finally, we need to disable IP domain lookup. We just say no IP domain lookup and save the configuration. Do right. And finally, verify if everything configured is correct. So we just go to this switch and say do show start. Okay. So when you open the switch, you see that service password encryption is effective. The hostname is here and the password is here and is encrypted. There is no IP domain lookup, which is right. Then if you go down, yes, banner message is here and effective. And line console, we can see login synchronous, login and exec timeout, and the password is also here. If we proceed down, you can see line VTY from 0 to 15, 0 to 4, then 5 to 15. There is exec timeout, a password, a login synchronous, and a login to authenticate the users. So, like we have 8 devices, and to go to an individual switch to to configure the same parameter is very tedious. And what do? We just open what is called Notepad. So after opening, let it just load. Good. Okay, so what we are going to do here, I'm just going to write commands. For example, I'm going to follow this document here and write commands of how to configure each parameter. For example, when you log into this switch, let's say when you log into this switch, you come to CLI, then you say this one. The first thing to do is enable. So I just write enable here. Then after enable, I always write config T. Then after config T, what do I want to configure? I want to configure host name. I just write host name. This is switch 2. After host name, I want to configure banner message, banner MOTD. Then 2 characters. Inside the 2 characters, we paste that one. Just enlarge this. We paste that one. After banner message, what were we configuring? Just a minute. After banner message, we were configuring privilege exec mode password, which was we just say enable password. Here, you know, Packet Tracer is iOS is very case sensitive, so you must type the English correctly. If you miss any letter, it will bring error. So as you can see, I'm doing it perfectly. Enable password to be Cisco. Then what again? Line console. Just enter line console 0. Just say password to be Cisco. Then you log in the user, then the user, and then login synchronous. Login synchronous. I think I've written synchronous, right? Then exec timeout. Exec timeout is one word. Timeout to be 2 minutes. I mean. Then we exit the interface, the line interface.
Out exit. Okay.
Yes. After exiting the inline interface, now we go to line VTY.
Line VTY. Sorry.
Yes. Now I copy the file. You know, line VTY and line console, the configuration are always the same. Although password might be different, but everything comes the same. So we go to line VTY 0 to 15. Yes. Password remains Cisco. Login is there. Login synchronous is there. Exec timeout is there.
Or do we do like a exit timeout to? I mean, after also line and after VTY.
Well, we do exec. You know, these 2 commands, login synchronous and exec timeout, we do them for line console and line VTY. Don't forget, every line, the 2 lines, we have 2 lines, line console and the line VTY. Line console is the physical line. You plug in the console cable to a switch, then to your PC, and you configure. But line VTY is that kind of a remote access. Use SSH, telnet, of which you're going to look at them in when you started routing. So that's how it is. And then encrypt all the configured password. What do you do? Service
passwords,
encryption. It's one word. Password encryption is one word. Then we disable IP domain lookup. We just say
no IP domain.
Yes,
lookup.
No IP domain lookup. Then we save the configuration. We just say do right. And that's all.
Exit.
Yeah. So these are all configurations that are needed under under basic configuration. So we just copy all of them there. Then we go to each individual switch. For example, this is switch 2, and as you can see here, what will only differ is the host name, but everything will remain the same. It's only host name that will differ, but everything will remain the same. So you just mark them all, you copy, you come to switch 2, you come to CLI, then you hit enter until you see the switch like this. After seeing the switch like this, now you just click on paste and you wait. So as you can see, everything has executed successfully. We didn't receive any error. I close this one.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
For okay. Because on our we had that was host name. It was S2. Yeah. So you put you go to the switch and you put like a paste.
Yeah, you
then
paste.
enter.
Now you come back to then you come back to the notepad. Now what to modify is just host name. Switch 3. Okay. So for example, we go to switch 3. We have modified to host name to switch 3. I mark it all. I copy. Then I come to switch 3. And I just paste. Everything is okay. You can see switch 3 here. Then I come to switch. This is switch 6. So I come to notepad and just modify name switch 6. I mark all. I copy. So we are done with them. We are done with the basic configuration. So we are going to EtherChannel configuration. For EtherChannel, it's pretty much simple. We can also do the copying, but for EtherChannel you have to be very, very careful. You have to be very, very careful. For example, refer to the topology and configure EtherChannel as per the comments given out. Carefully check the requirements, including groups, LSCP ports, and ports to apply them. Refer to the video notes attached. Be careful to choose the right ports and use the right protocols and channel groups as specified. Either channel should form and orange links should turn green. Okay. So we're going. I think configuring EtherChannel will be the most tedious job here now, because we are going to individual switch to configure EtherChannel. For example, you're going to this switch. The first thing to do is to identify which interfaces are connecting to the other switch. For example, this switch here. This is a FA02 and this is FA01. So FA01 and FA02 should be in channel group 1 and protocol to be LSCP active passive. So if this side should be active, this side should be passive. So let's click on the switch.
Oh, we are now already doing. So we didn't do the VLAN and the VTP. Are we going to do that?
Well, in the task, EtherChannel was number 2. Sorry.
Oh.
EtherChannel was number 2, and the reason why I put EtherChannel to be number 2. You know, when you are configuring VTP, you must configure trunk. So we must do EtherChannel first, because we are going to configure trunk together with EtherChannel. That's why it's about here.
Okay.
Yeah. So we will need to do EtherChannel first for FA01 and FA02 for switch 1. So we just click on switch 1 and we have the password here, which was Cisco. Yeah, enable. Then we have another password, Cisco config T. Alright, so interface range FA0/1 to 2. Then what do? We just say channel
group
1 mode to be
mods active. Oh, let me see.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's mode active. It's active passive. Although I don't know if the comments relate to what was there. The comments does not relate, and that won't affect our configuration. So let's just remain with our configuration here. Let's make this to be our channel group 1. You know, on the PNG here, on the image here, the channel group 1 was here down, but on our side, let's just make this one to be a channel group 1. No problem.
There is no way you can delete those. Okay.
Sorry.
Do we have the way you can delete that configuration for EtherChannel?
The one that I've just configured right now. Yes, sure. This one, I have not even applied it. So if I say hit enter, we can delete it. We just say no. We no to this command. We say no to that command, and it's deleted. So whenever we say this one, and we say no to that command is deleted.
Oh, it's deleted?
Yes. So when you say no, remember we have applied this command here, channel group 1 mode active, and in the same letter we just use this one, no channel group 1 active. Using a no keyword deletes a configuration that is specified, and in our case we specify this configuration, so it's deleted. And if I can just go back and say do show EtherChannel, then EtherChannel ports, you can see 0. Yeah. So I was trying to say that let's just follow this topology so that we don't bring a lot of confusion. It's like I was confused a little bit. Even the PHP was here down, and but on my side, let's just use this one for a demo purpose.
Yeah.
So interface that one, then switch port mode. Channel group 1 mode active. Okay, then we exit. We go and say interface port channel 1. Then switch port mode to be trunk, and exit. Do right.
That's all.
So this is where we need to write commands on Notepad to save time. And before that, I want the EtherChannel to be formed between this switch and this switch. So we'll go to this switch here and configure EtherChannel to form between it and switch 1 before we can write commands on Notepad. So I click on that switch. So I just say Cisco, enable Cisco config T. Alright. So which interfaces are these? So that's FA08, FA07. Okay. So I click on this one and say interface range FA07 to 8.
7 to 8, okay,
yeah. 7 to 8. Then we say channel group
1 mode.
Yeah. Channel group 1 mode passive. To be passive. Yes, because the other side was active. Good. Then we exit. Then we enter interface port channel 1. Sorry, there's something here. Interface port channel 1, then switch port mode trunk, exit, and do right. Do show EtherChannel. So EtherChannel has been formed. You can see we used 2 ports here, and it was FA0/7 to 8, and you can see the channel, and we are using LACP, active passive. Okay, so let's just wait for these ports. They will turn green. Meanwhile, we can write commands here. Now I want to write command for this switch to form EtherChannel with this switch. I'll just delete everything and say the first thing is just interface range. Which interfaces are these? That is FA02, FA01. Sorry, I go to Notepad, FA0/12. Then we just say channel group. Which group is this one? Group 2.
Group 1.
Group 2.
Group 2?
Yes.
Yes, group 2.
Group 2 mode to be auto desirable, PGP. Let's say auto on this side.
Auto.
Yeah. Then we exit the range. Then we say interface of port channel 2 switch port mode trunk, and exit the interface and do right. Okay, so
that's all installed.
this is okay. The interface were FA01 and FA02. So, and the group is group 2. Mode should be auto or desirable. And now the port channel 2 switch port mode trunk. We copy everything. I come to this switch here. Whenever you don't want to input password, you just come to config, because sometimes in entering password over and over again is tiring. When you come to CLI, you know you have to input password to access, so that's tiresome. Just come to config and click on any interface. Then come back to CLI. So we don't need to push password anymore. Yeah.
Repeat that.
So for example, on this switch, remember we've configured password on all these switches. Let's try with this one. I click on that one, and I want to configure it. I come to CLI and I find password. So you know, inputting password over and over again is tiresome. So instead, just come to config here, click on config, click on any interfaces, any of these from FA1 to FA10, from FA1 to any of them. Just click. After clicking, come back to CLI and just write exit. Yeah, so that's it. We were trying to configure EtherChannel on these interfaces on this switch, and we already wrote the commands here, so I'll just copy and paste. So that's okay. Now we are going to this switch to make EtherChannel form between it and this switch. Remember, EtherChannel has been formed between these two switches. You can see all the links are in green. So let's make switch 3 to form EtherChannel with switch 2. Let's identify the interfaces. Which interfaces are these? FA06, FA05. So I click on switch and it needs password. I go back to config. I click any interface. I come to CLI and exit. So I go back to my notepad and I change the configuration for as it was FA0/6, FA0/5. So 5 to 6, and the group should be just 2, because it needs to form EtherChannel with this switch 2. So the group is here 2, and mode now to be desirable, and everything just remain the way they are. You copy, you come to this switch, you come to that switch, and you just click on paste. So let's just wait. The same way it formed EtherChannel with this switch is the same way it will form EtherChannel with the other switch. So I want us to to write either channel between this switch and switch 6, and the channel group is 3, and it's still auto desirable PAGP. So I go back to the first thing is to identify interfaces. FA02, 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 FA01, FA02, FA01, FA02. Then channel group here is group 3. Now, whenever you see 3 here, make sure that the 3 is here. Now, what is the protocol? Protocol is PAGP. So we can just use desirable on this side, so that on that side, other side, we use auto. I just copy and click on that switch, and I hit enter. That's okay. Then I move to this switch here.
You hit enter or you hit copy?
Yeah?
Oh.
Sorry?
You do hit enter or you make copy first?
I copied here, and I came, and I pasted here where the cursor is.
Yeah.
Can you see where my cursor is?
Yeah.
You just click on paste. You copy on this side after editing, then you come here and you just click on paste. All right.
Yeah.
So I go to this switch here, and it needs password, so I come to config it on any interface, click on any interface, then come and exit. All right. So we need to form either channel with this switch here. So we identify the interface, this FA02, FA01. So it's the same thing. So what we modify here is just the mode, because on this side we use desirable. So let the other side we use auto. We copy to this switch here. I have copied it, so I go to this switch and I just click on paste. Good. So it will form either channel with this switch here. So let's just give it some time. Right auto. Okay, good. Alright. So I go to this switch. Can you see this has formed either channel, this has formed either channel. So we configure either channel between this switch and this switch. And what I want to do is just to identify which interfaces are these. That's FA04, FA03. So interface range 3 to 4. Then channel group 4. Mode to be active passive. Good. Channel group 4 here also. Then mode to be active passive. So let's be active.
Yeah.
Copy. Then I come on to this switch and I paste. After pasting, I go to this switch and configure either channel 2. So I click on that switch. I come to config and click on any interface. I go back to CNI and say exit. So on switch 5, your first thing to do is to identify the interfaces that are connecting to switch 3. So this is FA02, FA01. So I just go here and say FA01 to 2. And because they are both in group 4, what I change is just here to be passive. So you can see the use of Notepad is really helping us save time. Yeah. So just paste, and they will form either channel. As you can see, this and this has formed either channel. This has formed either channel. This has formed either channel. But now we've not configured either channel between this switch and this switch and this switch and this switch, this one and this one, this one and this one. And that's why you can still see orange. Okay.
Yeah.
So we want to form EtherChannel for group 5 between this switch and this switch.
6 and 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switch and 4. 6 and 4, I mean. So this is FA04 and this is FA03. Let me confirm again. Yes, FA04 3. So I come to my editor and I say FA03 to 4, and then switchport mode, I mean group should be group 5, year 5, and which protocol? PHP. So let's use auto desirable. On that side we can use auto. Okay, and that's all. We just copy, we come to this switch and we click on any interface, exit. You have to make sure that before pasting we are in global configuration mode. Then we just paste. Then we go back to this, we go to this switch and configure EtherChannel with the same group. So the first thing, identify interfaces, FA02, and the other one is FA01. So it's 1 to 2. It's 1 to 2, 1 to 2. Mode to be auto desirable, auto desirable. Then we just copy everything to this switch here. Exit and you paste. Alright, so let's form EtherChannel for group 6 between switch 5 and switch 4. So what I'll do, I'll just start with switch 4 now. This interface is FA04 and this is FA 03. So 3 to 4. 3 to 4. 3 to 4 is group 6. Yes, 6. Yes, 6. Sorry. Yes. Yes, 6 and there is 6. And now the protocol is active passive. Okay, LACP. We can use here to be active. 3, 4, group 6, active. Good. Then we copy. I come to the switch and I just paste. And then I come to switch 5 to form the EtherChannel. Just click on switch 5. We go to config any interface and exit. Then we come here. The first thing is to know the interfaces. This is FA4, FA3. So 3 to 4 also. 3 to 4. Group is 6. Then mode should be passive because the other side was active. We copy all. I come to this switch here and I paste. So EtherChannel will be formed there. So we are only remaining with this switch, between this switch and this switch and this switch and this switch. So let's start from this switch to this switch to form for channel group 7. I click on that switch. Before I click on that switch, I need to identify the interfaces. This switch is FA6, FA5. So 5 to 6. We just come here and change 5 to 6. 5 to 6. And then channel group 7, here to be 7, here to be 7. And the mode to be LACP, active passive. So let's start from passive. We just copy and I come here and I paste. I had an error somewhere. There's an error here. there's an error here, so I need to check where I went wrong. Channel group 7. I'll try to copy it again. There's still error.
Now, let's check.
Yeah. Config T interface range FA0 / it was 5 to 6. I'll try to verify again. This is 6. That's 5. 5 to 6. 5 to 6. Then I'll say channel group. Then I query to see. Oh, the channel group ends at number 6. You see here. Yeah. Channel groups ends at number 6. I didn't see this.
How did we come to have more channels than one?
Sorry?
How did you come to have like a channel group? I mean, group more than 6.
I thought when I was trying to say that we can bundle a minimum of 2 links, but a maximum of 8 links. So I thought channel groups can end at 8 too, and that's why I had 8 groups here. You see. And now, because we assigned group 1 and group 2 on this side, I now want to send group 1 and group 2 also on this side, because they are not related in any way, because this is on this side and this is on this side. So I'll edit this to group 1, and this one is group 2 also. I didn't know channel groups end at 6. I thought it was 8. Okay.
So that's the rule.
Sorry?
That's the rule.
Yes,
the group channel. The group, they can't be more than 6.
Yes, they can't be more than 6. That's why you see when I was trying to query, you can see from 1 to 6 channel group number. And when I tried to input 7, you saw an error, and the error was here. You can see here was the error. It was pointing at 7, meaning that's the wrong thing there. Okay, so I'll change that to group 1. Group 1, and copy. Exit. And I paste, so no problem at all. Then we go to switch 7. Switch 7 is connecting through FS2 and FA1. So I click on switch 7, I come to this, and I just say exit, and here, so we only change 2 to sorry, it was FA01 to 2. Yes, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, and we just only change mode to active passive. Hit enter. We copy, we come to this switch, and we paste. Okay, sorry, we had a problem too. Oh yeah, I didn't write A, so I copy again and I paste. It's now okay. Now let's make group 2 between this one and this one. So for group 2 will be PAGP, and the ports from switch 4 was FA8 and FA7. So I change here to FA8, 7 to 8. Then group 2 group 2 here to channel group 2, port channel 2, then mode to be, let's say, auto on this side, because it's PHP. I come here and I paste. That's okay. Then I come to this switch and configure the channel group 2 also. I phase 0/2 to 1 to 2. Exit. Then you come to the notepad, you just change 1 to 2, 1 to 2, mode to be passive. Auto are desirable, copy and you paste. Good. So either channel will be formed, and you can see most of the links as from either channel, but because this is a circle, the traffic should not go in a circle, and that's why you see the other channel between this one and this one has been formed, although on this side it has been put on a blocking state. So
why? That's a question.
Yeah. Just a minute. Okay, you can see this is like a circle. This switch, this one forms something like a circle. And if all these links are up, information will be just going this way. Information will be just going in a circle, and that's why we have to terminate on this side, so that if information is going this one, it just go this way. It's from this switch, it just go this way, but not this way. Can you hear me? Okay, I will repeat. Although either channel has been formed in all other links, but considering this one, between these four switches, these four switches forms something like just a circle, because they are four and they are holding hands together. So any information from one switch will go to all other switches. Meaning, if one information is from this switch, it will go to this switch, this switch, this switch, and that switch. I mean, from this switch to this switch to this switch to this switch. And when this switch receives that information, it will send it to all other switches too. So each switch will be sending information to all other switches. And when the other switch receives the information, it will resend it to all other switches. So that's why we need to terminate at this point to avoid that kind of a loop, because they are seated at a circle. This is called circle. Area of the domain circle, the circle domain. When the nodes are at a circle domain, then one end should be terminated. Yeah. So as you can see, EtherChannel has been formed in all the links, and as you can remember, even on the previous demonstration of EtherChannel, you saw one of the connection was still orange. Can you remember that? Yeah. So let's go ahead. Test EtherChannel every switch if it's working. Do show EtherChannel. I'll just do that in one or two switches. So let's start with this one. Do show EtherChannel. So EtherChannel is working. We have group 3 and group 5 there. Okay, so let's go to this switch here, but we had a lot of groups. Do show EtherChannel. So there we had group 1, group 2, group 5 and group 6. So EtherChannel is working successfully on the switches. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go to step step 3. And now these are very, very important. VTP, we configure VTP in all other switches. VTP, configure VTP domain to be abcd.com, version 2, password of this one, okay, and switch 1 to be the VTP server. Okay, so let's proceed. We go to switch 1, come to config any interface, come to okay, we've been told to configure, so I'll just open this one and that one. Configure VTP domain to be so we need to configure VTP domain to be ABCD. VTP. Under VTP we can configure domain, mode, password, and version. So VTP, let's start with the version first. Version to be version 2. Then we configure VTP domain to be abcd.com. That's okay. You can see changing VTP domain from null to abc.com. Then we configure VTP password. We have 4 things to configure under VTP: version, password, mode, and domain. The first thing that you should always do, you can do domain and then version, all version, then domain, whichever, but all in all will work. So also VTP password to be, let's say Cisco. I don't want to complicate things writing password.com, just for the demo purpose. Okay, setting device VLAN database password to Cisco. Good. Then finally, which is most important, one of the most important one is mode. VTP mode to be, let's say, server, because we've been told here switch 1 to be VTP server, but from switch 2 to switch 8 to be VTP clients. Okay, VTP server, and hit enter and do right. By default, all the switches are VTP servers, right? So let's go to the topology and copy the write commands and copy the configuration to all other switches. So we just go back to this notepad and we start VTP version 2, then VTP domain to be abcd.com, then what again, VTP password to be Cisco, and you have to make sure that all these parameters are the same. VTP domain, VTP version, and VTP password is the same for all the switches. Then finally VTP mode to be client. Just have to make sure that you write the words correctly. The first thing, VTP version 2, VTP domain abcd.com, then final second last, VTP password to be Cisco, then finally VTP mode to be client. I copy to all the switches to save time without going to individual switch and configure them. And that's why I told you Notepad is very, very helpful in any configuration, because it saves time. And that's why I always take even 1 hour to configure a very big network that takes other people maybe 2 to 3 days because of use of Notepad. So we just go to every switch and paste the configuration, and I want to save them, so I just say do right. I come back to the other switch and say do right. Then I go to this configuration and say do right. I copy again. Now I go ahead and paste to all others remaining switches. So VTP is very simpler way to configure VLANs. The main reason why we are doing VTP is to ease the way we configure VLANs. We don't need to go to every switch to configure VLAN. We just configure VTP and use VTP to replicate VLANs to all the switches. So as you can see, we have not even configured VLANs on the switches, but now when we shall have configured VLAN on the VTP server switch, all the VLANs that we configure will be replicated to all the switches. So that's why VTP is very important. VTP and Notepad works like the same thing. It allows you to save time. You don't need to write same command in every switch. You just have to write in a notepad and paste them in every switch. So I just go to the first switch and say do show VTP status. You can see the version is version 2 and the domain name is abcd.com and it's a VTP server. Okay, alright, so I think we're done with the configuration of VTP, which I've done very fast. Important. So VTP, yes,
I like for the VTP again. So for VTP,
yes,
you do the same thing. You can just copy paste on those switches.
Yes. So what differs is only on VTP. It's only mode. When you have specified that one switch is a VTP server, then all the other remaining switches should be VTP clients.
Okay.
And then you write a command that will be the same for all the VTP clients. And you go ahead and paste to all those switches. So if I just do show VTP status, I see this client and the domain name is there and the version. Okay, so let's go back to the Word document. Important, you do not need to configure the trunk here because you already configured EtherChannel with the trunk above, and that's why you asked me about the VLANs and the VTP, why I was configuring EtherChannel before VTP and VLANs. And I told you that for VTP to work, we have to configure trunk, and in this case EtherChannel comes with the trunk, so we must do it first before we can do VTP. Okay, so let's go to part 4, which is VLANs. Identify and configure trunk ports. This is not needed because we've been told that you don't need to configure trunk here because you've already configured EtherChannel. So I'll just delete that one. Alright, create 3 VLANs only in the VTP server switch as follows. VLAN 10 to be HR, VLAN 20 ICT, VLAN 30 to be finance. Okay, so I'll go back to Packet Tracer and configure VLANs on this switch. Exit, and I say number 1 VLAN 10, name HR, then VLAN 20, name ICT, then VLAN 30, name finance, fin. Exit and do right. Okay, do show VLAN. You can see we have 3 VLANs, 10, 20, 30. Okay, so I just want to try to go to any of the switches, even the switch on the far end, and to see if the VTP has sent anything. do show VLAN. You see, VTP has sent the VLANs to those switches. So VTP is pretty much simple. It's like a notepad that you're using. You don't need to go to every switch and configure the same parameters. Write the commands and paste to all the switches. Exit do show VLAN. So you can see everything has come here, but I didn't configure them on these switches, so that's why VTP is very important. And now in every switch except for the two in the middle, switch 3 and switch 4, designate first either 0 to 12 for VLAN 10. We did that. Then first Ethernet 13 to 19 for VLAN 20. Then first Ethernet 0 to 24 for VLAN 30. So this is where Notepad normally helps us, because we are being told that in every switch except for the one in the middle, this one and this one, because this one and this one are not connected to computers, but all other switches are connected to the host devices except this one and this one. And now we're being told that to designate, to reserve or to allocate these ports to these VLANs. For example, from FA06 to FA12 for VLAN 10, for for FA13 to 19 for VLAN 20, and finally 20 to 24 VLAN 30. So let's begin. The first thing I will demonstrate, and the second part I'll write commands on Notepad and copy to all other switches to save time. So I'll just demonstrate with using this switch interface range FA0/6 to, it was 6 to 12 for VLAN 10. We assign them to VLAN 10. Switchport mode, switchport mode access first, then switchport access VLAN 10. Then we exit. Then we go, and we've been told that FA13 to 19 for VLAN 20. So we go back here, and I try to retrieve the configuration 13 to 20, 13 to 19 for VLAN 20. The first thing, switchport mode access, then switchport access VLAN 20. Exit. Then finally you go to this range here, FF20 to 24, 20 to 24, 20 to 24. Switchport mode access, then switchport access VLAN 30. Exit and do right. So if we can just say do show VLAN, now you will see for VLAN 10, these are the interfaces. FA0/6 to 12. For VLAN 20, these are the interfaces, 13 to 19. For VLAN 30, these are the interfaces, 20 to 24. So I'll close this one, and I'll go back to Notepad.
The VLAN are all configured in VTP server.
Yes, they are all configured in the VLANs only. VTP is for VLANs only. Yeah. So we need to assign interfaces to VLAN on all other switches. So let's begin what we just done here, because the information is general. We do something that is the same for all. Here, for example, here was we've been told that interface range FA0/6 to 12, then switchport mode access, then switchport access VLAN 10 in every switch, because that's the same information. Then after that one, we exit the interfaces, and I copy this, I copy and paste it 3 times. I'll change this to 13 to 19, and here to 20, and I change this to 20 to 24 as specified here. I just specified there, and this to VLAN 30. Yeah, so that's how it's done. I don't need to go to every switch to configure these things. I write commands on Notepad once and for all, and I paste. So I copy, and I go to this switch, this switch, this switch, this switch, this switch, and this switch, but not this one and this one, because we've been told that except the one in the middle, because the one in the middle are not attached to any computers. So I click on this, and I paste. Do right. So I will include do right here, so that I can do it once and for all. Do right. Copy. I go to this switch. I go to this switch. This one. And finally this one. So you see the use of Notepad is really helping us do a lot of configuration within a short time. So we just done assigning interfaces to the to VLAN IDs. Okay, so if we just proceed, testing VTP in all other switches, testing VLANs. We've already I do show VLAN. Do show VLAN. Okay. Test VTP. Test VLANs. VLAN in every switch to see if the VLANs configured are replicated or copied to all other VTP client switches. We already seen that, and now we're going to assign IP address to the computers. We're going to assign IP address to the computers and try to communicate. And for that, I'll do it very fast. Though it's time consuming, but I'll just try to do it very fast. And the range is from 10.10 to 10.30. I mean 1.102 2.168.1.10. That's the first one, and I copy this. So I copy that to this PC. Computer that I assigned IP address, and now all computers have IP address and they can communicate. For example, this is 1.18, so I'll just try to ping 1.18 from VLAN 20 PC on that side. But you know, we said that computers in different VLANs cannot communicate, so we just have to try to ping from computers from the same VLAN. For example, this is having .15, this is .18 for VLAN 20. So I go to PC1 on the other side, then go to ping 192.168.1.15. Is it really in VLAN 20? Oh, okay, it's pinging. It's pinging successfully, although it's very, very far away. But it's pinging successfully. We don't have a gateway. So when we started routing, we'll have a gateway that will ease in this process, and we'll having a quick response. So let's try to ping 18 also. 18 also is very, very far away, but it's pinging. Okay. Alright, so I think on that part you're done. On that part I'm done. And now make sure that the computers have configured the correct IP address, and those within the same VLAN can communicate. So I'm not tested for VLAN 10 and VLAN 30. So this is VLAN 10 having IP address of .10. Then I'm going to try to ping this one .17 and probably .26. So I'm going to type 17 and 26. Ping 192.168.1.26. So it's okay. Another one .17. Another one was .17. Another one. It's okay. It's okay. .17 is near it, so it goes very, very fast. Then finally let's test for 30. This one is .16. This is .19. 16, 19. We ping from the PC. Ping 192.168.1.16. Okay, that's okay. That's successful. And then now .19. It's okay. It's okay. So PCs in the same VLANs can communicate. Okay. So I go back to the Word document and do this VLAN pruning. In switch 1, deny VLAN 20 through the interface port channel 1. Remember, we didn't configure trunk. We were configuring a logical channel, which is port channel. So when we're denying a VLAN, we're going to use a port channel 1. Try again to ping using devices in VLAN 20. That will not communicate. So we go back to, we've been told only to deny VLAN 20 through this port channel. I mean port group. I mean channel group 1. So we just okay. So I go to config. I don't want to put password. Come to select again. Exit. So just say interface port channel 1. Then we say switch port trunk allowed VLAN trunk allowed VLAN to be only we've been told to deny VLAN 20. Yes, so we need to deny VLAN 20 through the port channel 1, because these links have been bundled together and we are no longer calling this a trunk, but you know, the trunk is inside a port channel, so it carries trunk. So allowed VLAN to be VLAN 10, let's say 20, no, VLAN 10 and 30 only, because we don't need to allow all the VLANs. We need to deny VLAN 20. So we only allow 2 VLANs, or you can just do this one. trunk that's let me query trunk allowed VLAN, then I query again VLAN, then I query we can just say VLAN. We've been told to deny only VLAN 20, so we don't need to interfere with other VLANs in the network. I mean, sometimes there are other VLANs that were configured. So let's say we want only to deny VLAN 20. So we just say switch port trunk allowed VLAN. Let's say all. Then we query allowed VLAN except 20. Let me query again. I'll explain this on 20. So this command here is very specific. This command here is going to allow all the VLANs except VLAN 20. You know, in our case we've been, let me just destroy this thing. Okay, in our case we've been doing this interface port channel 1. Okay, interface port channel 1. In our case we've just been doing switch port trunk allowed VLAN, and we specify the number that we want to allow. But in this case we've been told to deny a specific VLAN. So what do? We just say switch port trunk allowed VLAN, then we say except 20. Yeah, so that command will allow all the VLANs except VLAN 20. Then we hit enter and exit. Do right. So I will go back to VLAN 20. Remember the first time we tried to ping other computers on the same VLAN, they were replying. It was successful. So let me try to ping again. Same IP address .18. So let's just wait. It won't communicate. Why? Because it's blacklisted. It is blacklisted. That's why it cannot communicate. That's why it won't communicate. So basically, I think we have achieved that. Achieved that objective of denying one specific VLAN through the port channel 1. All right. So finally, we are here in number 6, which is about switch port security. And for the switch port security, in the switches, configure port security to allow a maximum of 2 MAC addresses per port. Configure sticky command to obtain MAC addresses dynamically. And finally, shut down at the violation mode. Pretty much simple. My culture of doing configuration, I do on only one switch, then I write commands on Notepad and copy on all other switches. So for example here, we've been told here in the configure port switch to allow maximum of 2 MAC addresses per port. So in this switch here, if you check on it, we need to allow just a minute. We need to allow only 2 devices to access a port at the same time, at a given time. So let's identify which ports are those. So when I move over that switch, you can see the ports are from 03. The ports that are up are from 03 to 0. Sorry, the ports that are up. Let's say all the ports. I want to enable switch port security to all the ports that are access ports. all the ports that are access port, but any port connecting to switch, I won't enable switch port security. So for example, this is FA02 and this is FA01. So from FA03 to FA24, we should have switch port security, because FA1 and F2 are trunks, are form either channel. So let's go to this switch here and say interface range FA0/3 to 24. The first thing we do, we just say switch mode, mode access, then switch port security. Then after switch port security, we specify maximum number of MAC addresses. Maximum to be, we've been told only 2 MAC addresses per port. Hit enter. Then switch port security. Switch port security MAC address are obtained through a sticky command. Then finally, switch port security violation mode to be shut down. Exit and do right. So we finalize configuring either channel on the switch 1. So I just want to write commands on Notepad and copy to all other switches. For example, for this switch, I think the interfaces that are connected are the same as because on this switch here, F1 and F2 were connected to the other switch, a trunk, the same as this one, the same as this one, the same as this one, and the same. For these 4, I'll write one command and copy for all of them, because they have similar connection to the central switches. So they utilize the first interfaces. So for example here, so it's from 3 to 24, 3 to 24. Switch port mode access, then switch port security. Activate port security the way we said in the morning, and then switch port security, the maximum number of MAC addresses, maximum to be 2. Then switch port security, MAC address to be sticky command. You obtain through sticky command. Then switch port security violation to be shut down. So this command here, this exit and do right. I copy. I copy to this switch, this one, and this one. But for this one and this one, I'll write them later, because you can see they have utilized a lot of interfaces than this one. So I click on this one, I come to FA05, exit, and I paste. Okay, that's okay. Then I come to this one also. Config, exit, and I paste. Close. Then I come to this one finally. Exit, and I paste. Okay. Now for this one and this one, they have utilized a lot of interfaces. So I just notify. I'll just check on this FA04, FA03, FA04, 2 and 1, same as this one, 4, 3, 2 and 1. So it starts from 5 to 24, because from 1 to 4 are being utilized. So I just copy this from 5 to 24. And that will just mark the end of this configuration. Everything is just working as expected. And I paste, and finally I come to this switch Exit, and I paste. Okay, so I believe everything will work. And if I can just go to any of the switches and say do show EtherChannel. So not EtherChannel but port security. Do show port security. So you can see all the ports have been secured. You can see we have secured on this switch. You secured from FA05 to 24, and the maximum number of addresses that a port can have is 2, and then the violation mode of shutdown. So basically, I think as per this task, we have executed everything, and everything is working as expected. And we have achieved objective of implementing these technologies on a mini project, a Cisco switching mini project, which is very, very important, because in every project that we'll be doing, we won't miss to have port security, EtherChannel, basic configuration, and VLANs. So it's very, very important to understand how to work through these technologies, and to know where to configure them, how to configure them, and achieve the feasible solution that works for you. Yeah, and basically that will mark the end of this project.